Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests. I'm very honored today to have been invited to this forum to talk about the wood carving tradition of a town in the Philippines. My presentation will start with a short video showing where Paete is in the 7,100 islands of the Philippines. Then, I will talk about the influences in the wood carving tradition of Paete. So ladies and gentlemen, sit and watch this short video. Paete is a town of the province of Laguna in the main island of Luzon that lies between the Laguna de Bay Lake and the Sierra Madre mountain range. It was founded in 1580 by Spanish priests of the Franciscan order. It is about 113 kilometers from Manila, the capital of the Philippines. The name of the town, Paete, comes from the Filipino word paet, which means chisel. It is a town rich in history, traditions, and culture, and has produced many artisans and artists spanning generations that is unparalleled elsewhere in the Philippines. The wood carving tradition of Paete, Laguna, started prior to the arrival of the Spaniards, but reached greater popularity and reputation with the establishment of traditional churches and their altars. The community of wood carvers flourished with their creation of well-proportioned statues following European designs of the Holy Family, saints, and other religious images such as angels, crucifixes, ornate pulpits, and the like with locally sourced wood. The rural way of life also provided inspiration in creating wood sculptures depicting rural scenes. In addition to this, home decorations and utilitarian kitchenwares like bowls and plates, wooden shoes or bakya, and papier-mâché products were also produced. Of more recent origin are the sculptures carved from ice, fruit, and vegetable from the original wood carvers who have found employment in hotels and restaurants in the overseas market. These artists and artisans know of no other way of life as they have been born and honed into a culture of creation and imitation. Mr. Luis Akak and Mr. Ernesto Cagayat hail from a family of wood carvers, with the former serving as the maestro or teacher and the latter as the apprentice in wood carving. They have been ingrained, much like the grains of the wood that they use to create and fashion an idea or thought into something visual and real. Their workshop is found along the major street of the town, very close to the church and the municipal hall. In their person, their activity and art, we will see how creativity flows and how technique is mastered. Truly, nurture and nature has contributed to what Paete is now known for, a truly Filipino town steeped in the arts. Why did I use the word ingrained? I purposely used the word ingrained in my talk this afternoon. As we all know, the grains of the wood show the growth of a tree from sapling to a towering giant. The rings or grain of the wood also marks the passage of time. In fact, there is a whole science of tree growth analysis called dendrochronology. Paete is a rural town and as shown in the video is located between the second largest lake in Asia, the Laguna de Bay, and the Sierra Madre mountain range. The presence of the mountain is important as it is a source of the potable water and also the wood that they use for carving. The lake, on the other hand, provides fishing as a livelihood.
So these are just some pictures of the town itself, pointing to the town of Paete. Now, what are the major influences for the wood carving tradition? So I think the first one would be the religious influence, and that is the presence of the church. The Philippines is perhaps unique among Asian countries, as it is the only country that has been occupied by Spain, the Americans, and the Japanese. I would say that Spain has contributed to the religiosity of the Filipinos, and with the formation of towns and churches, the development of religious images housed in these churches, even today, has continued to provide livelihood to the wood carvers, not only in Paete, but also in another town, Betis, Pampanga. But for now, I will just focus on Paete. Betis is another story. So look at this image. This is the image of a saint, or Saint Michael the Archangel. What is interesting is that it is not only the church and other religious institutions like Catholic schools that have become regular customers of wood carvers. Family traditions of images of saints being paraded during processions, collectors and patrons who wish to have these images in their homes have also added to this demand for images fashioned from wood and painted over following European classic design. So here is an example of an altar following the Baroque or classic design. And this is an unfinished Jesus statue, but now it is already finished and it is found in Mindanao. Okay. This is another example of an old tradition of a family praying together, and this is a wood carving that won an award. Now, the second influence is the traditional way of life. And as you will see here, it is depicted, so this is a wood carving, and I don't know if you are familiar with this, that is rice. Okay, rice and a sack or a jute sack where rice is found. And then this one has a native mat. This one you have the rice grains, corn, coconut grater, and a water jar. Okay, all carved from wood and painted. Okay, smoked fish. And then santan flowers. And then the other influence would be in children's play. Okay, so here we have two boys playing piggyback, and the other one is, I don't know if you also have this child's game here in China. Okay, luksong baka. And of course, a group of children playing Chinese checkers. Okay. This particular wood carving is from a one whole trunk of santol. Okay. And the wood carver carved all of this from one piece of wood. Again, children's play, fishing. And this one you have there a child climbing a tree and another child playing with a slingshot. Now, this is another Filipino tradition, again patterned after the European tradition of kissing the hand, but we change it a bit. So we do not use the lips to kiss the hand. Instead, we just put it here on the forehead. So that is how we modified this tradition. So now it's uniquely ours because we just put it on the forehead. Okay, some examples of mother and child. And as mentioned by the lecturer who was ahead of me, they are now trying to use combinations with metal. And in this other one, they use wood that is not used anymore, or what he called as recycled wood. Now, the last influence would be the generation of wood carvers. So I say that it's in the blood and it's in their genes. Example would be Mario Madrinan. So as early as 1882, he was already winning for this particular piece a religious image of the Blessed Mother in Amsterdam. Another one would be a picture of Jose Caancan, the one on the extreme right, and his apprentices. And this picture was taken in 1912. And then two more famous sculptors. One is Luis Obial and Bernardo Cagandahan. And then, what we're doing now is trying to help organize the Artists Guild. Because in the previous time, artists, do their thing individually, but now they have decided to form an Artists Guild. So they launch their exhibits together. So they have exhibits of their wood carvings, and then they help each other. So in summary, I say that nature and nurture has helped to what Paete is today. So you have there the lake, the mountains, you have the religious traditions of the church, and the rural way of life, and lastly, the generation of wood carvers. Thank you.
Many thanks to Dr. Connie. In his speech, he has discussed wood carving activities in a small town, Paete, in the Philippines. He also discussed the influence to wood carving activities. These influences can come from religion, can from traditional ways of life, from children's play, and from generations of wood carvers. 在这个康尼尔博士演讲当中，他给我们讨论了关于墨彩的这个雕刻一些活动，在一个菲律宾的一个小岛上面的一个小镇上面的一些活动，同时主要介绍了对这个雕刻这些活动的一些影响，怎么发生的一些影响，就包括有宗教方面的影响，包括有人们日常生活、传统生活的一些影响，包括有小孩的一些玩的方式的影响，还有这个木雕艺人们的不同代的这个木雕艺人们的影响，这些内容都是很好的，大家一定会感兴趣。Any question for him, for her?
Yes, I'm going to repeat her question. Actually, she's asking me how big the Artists Guild is. Okay, it's maybe a group of about 20 wood carvers who have grouped themselves together, and they do their exhibits also together. And then for the school, unlike, I envy China because you have a very long tradition of wood carvers and also a craft school where potential wood carvers are taught how to do wood carving. In the Philippines, we do not have that. So what happens is that a master wood carver would accept apprentices, and then that apprentice would, if you saw the video, the apprentice sits beside the maestro, and then every time the maestro would sometime look at the activity of the apprentice, and that's how he learns. So I think it would be good if there would be some kind of a craft school similar to what you have here in China, or maybe an exchange.
Yeah, 还有什么问题没有？来个 One more question. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much.